Welcome to Families Through Surrogacy.
Great to be here.
So today we're doing a deep dive into surrogacy in the United States. Basically, the key things you as intended parents really need to get your head around.
Absolutely. There's a lot to cover, like why the U.S. is so popular, the legal side, medical care, citizenship, costs.
And importantly, where in the U.S. to even start looking. State by state makes a difference.
It really does.
Okay, so let's jump in. Why the USA? What's the big draw, especially for international folks?
Well, I think one of the biggest factors is legal certainty. That's huge for intended parents.
Right. It can feel a bit overwhelming otherwise. You hear about states like California, Illinois, Colorado. They have something called pre-birth orders.
Exactly. And these are, well, they're incredibly important. What a pre-birth order does is legally establish you as the parents before the baby even arrives. So think about it. Your names are on that initial birth certificate, right from day one. No ambiguity.
That provides a massive amount of security, doesn't it?
It cuts down on potential legal hurdles later on.
Okay, so legal security is key. What else makes the U.S. attractive? You mentioned medical standards.
Yes, and that's another major pull factor. I mean, if you're going through this journey, you want the absolute best medical care possible, right?
Of course.
And the U.S., well, it has access to some of the world's top IVF clinics, really experienced obstetric teams, and crucially, advanced neonatal care if it's needed.
So a high level of medical expertise across the board.
Definitely. It offers a lot of reassurance during what can be, an anxious time.
Makes sense. Now, something specific for international intended parents, citizenship. How does that work if your child is born via surrogacy in the U.S.?
It's actually quite straightforward, legally speaking. The U.S. follows a principle called jus soli.
Jus soli, Latin.
Yeah, it means right of the soil.
Yeah.
Basically, anyone born on U.S. territory is automatically a U.S. citizen.
Regardless of the parent's nationality.
Exactly. It doesn't matter where the parents are from or their legal status. Birth on U.S. soil means U.S. citizenship for the child.
That must simplify things enormously for international parents.
Oh, absolutely. It removes a major layer of complexity regarding the child's legal status and passport.
Okay, let's shift gears to the financials. Always a big topic. We're talking ballpark figures for 2025 here, so people should remember these are estimates and can change.
Good point. It's a snapshot in time. So the total program cost, you're typically looking at a range somewhere between, say, U.S. $120,000 and $180,000.
120 to 180K, and that covers...
That's sort of an all-in figure, generally covering agency fees, the legal work, all medical procedures, screening, insurance, and the surrogate's compensation and expenses.
Right, and focusing on the surrogate's compensation, specifically, what's the average base pay looking like for 2025?
The base compensation for the surrogate herself usually falls somewhere in the U.S. $45,000 to $55,000 range.
45 to 55,000.
Yeah, and it's important, like you said, that's the base amount. There are always other benefits, allowances for things like maternity clothes, travel, lost wages, things like that.
Now, with cost and legal stuff varying, choosing the right state seems critical. Where should people start their research?
It is critical. Not all states are created equal when it comes to surrogacy law. Some are very well established and protective. Good places to start looking are states like California, Colorado, Illinois, Nevada, Connecticut, New Jersey.
Okay, so those are known for being generally surrogacy friendly.
Yes, they have clearer laws, often allow pre-birth orders, and have a history of handling surrogacy cases effectively.
Are there states people should perhaps be cautious about or even avoid?
Definitely. Some states have laws that are quite restrictive, or they might even ban compensated surrogacy agreements altogether. Michigan and Louisiana are often cited as examples to be very careful with or avoid.
Right, so due diligence on the specific state's laws is non-negotiable.
You need to understand the specifics of the state where your surrogate lives and will give birth.
Okay, great practical advice. So just to quickly recap, we've touched on the legal security in key states like California, the high medical standards, the automatic U.S. citizenship for the child, the kind of cost range for 2025, and highlighted some states to look into and others to be wary of.
That's a good summary. Understanding these key pieces gives you, the listener, a much clearer picture as you weigh your options for surrogacy in the U.S.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in to this Families Through Surrogacy deep dive. If you want more info, definitely head over to familythroughsurrogacy.com.au.
Yeah, lots of free resources there, clinic lists, even tips on things to do in different U.S. cities while you're waiting. Useful stuff.
Absolutely. And please, if you found this helpful, share it. Maybe leave us a review or, send us your questions on social media. We love hearing from you.